If you like accents, you are at the right place. Welcome to my podcast, Worlds Collide. I'm the host of the show, Victoria Daute, and I talk with my international guests here in the show about the experiences they made in their new country versus their home country. In this episode, I talked to Nadina. She moved to the United States in 1997. She's from Argentina, and it's still a very big part of her identity. Find out how a job for a fly fishing company brought her here, what kept her here, the struggles in the beginning, and still 26 years later. We also talk a little bit about her work with celebrity chefs Francis Malman and Pablo Macei, and what kind of record she's holding in the Guinness Book of World Records. Oh, and I forgot to mention that she didn't move anywhere. She moved to a small town in Idaho. I welcome Nadina from Argentina. She moved here a long time ago and now is in Idaho. Hi, Nadina. How are you?
Good. How are you?
I'm good. Thank you. Thanks to be on the podcast.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, you moved from Argentina.
I moved from Argentina.
How long ago?
I moved up here on 1997.
1997.
Yeah. Yes.
Oh wow, that is a long time ago.
I know.
And where in Argentina were you?
Buenos Aires, from the capital. Yes.
Okay, and then you came right to Idaho?
The thing is, my first husband, he's a fly fishing guy, and I got this gig to go down to Patagonia to work for a fly fishing lodge, and the company that hired me was like, "Oh, do you want to go to another country and do this?" I was like, "Oh, okay." So I did go kind of around the world with them. It was pretty cool. And I met my husband in Mongolia. And
Oh,
then, funny enough, which I didn't know, and where I was in Patagonia, they were like another 4 places, and he worked in one of that places. But it was funny that we never like met because I don't know, it didn't happen.
and he was he Argentinian too, or
No, he's a US.
Oh, he was American. Okay.
Yeah. And so anyway, we took a trip up here because his parents, his mom live like 3 hours from where I'm right now in Sun Valley, Idaho.
Mm-hmm.
And a mutual friend live up here in town, and he was always like, before even I met my husband, he was like, "You have to come to Sun Valley. There is this Italian lady, she would love to work with you, blah, blah." And that's exactly what happened. I came up here, the next day I was working.
Nice.
And I worked for this lady for 12 years as the head of the catering department.
Okay. The fly fishing, was it also cooking?
Yes, so I was a chef.
Uh-huh.
So you go with them. It's crazy. You have to be young to survive this, which I wouldn't do it right now. But you go and you work 4 months, and you work every single day, nonstop, because every week you have new people coming. And I was the chef, just to prepare all the meals for them. It was a really good experience. They meet really cool people too. I started working on this absolutely crazy food industry because I trained with Francis Malman, who is one of our biggest celebrities. And I was 18 when I got with him. And with Pablo Macei. And we would travel, they travel a lot. And it was always like, a few of my friends were like, "These people is crazy. This is too exhausted. I hate it." And I was like, "Oh my gosh, this is so fascinating."
Okay, you were excited about it, and everybody else was okay. This is too much.
Like, yeah, they were thinking,
Yeah.
these 2 pockets are like just crazy. And I think this because when my dad, who was a pilot, will we travel? To me, it was common to do it.
Okay, so you always traveled a lot with your family.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So, but they teach me how to like work is a little different because you go to a different country sometimes, and you are like, oh my gosh, I never been here. I don't know what language they're speaking. I don't know if I can find things. You go through that stupidity, and then by the second trip, you're like, oh, this is, we have a menu. We have one day to prepare for 500 people. Next day,
Uh-huh.
I don't know. I feel like the adrenaline, it was so much. It was so much that it was fun.
Okay.
So to me, like, I still like have calls where people say, "Are you free?" These days, and I'm like, "Yes," and they send me the stuff, and I never read sometimes who is the client because sometimes it's the assistant who's sending the stuff, so I don't know who is the client. But you had
Yeah.
to travel, and then the person that opens the door is like George Lucas, and you're like, "Oh shit." I was had
Oh,
to
shit.
I was had to read stuff, which was it was really cool. So I professionally has been as crazy as exciting to be on this absolutely roller coaster. You never know who's gonna be at the end of the table.
But that was when you were still working with the traveling company. That was
This it was before I got married. Yeah,
okay, okay. And so what was your first reaction when you started working in Idaho?
I was very surprised. The place is beautiful. But to me, I was surprised that I was in a ski town and people didn't speak another language. And up here, it's really really tiny city now, town, no city. It's a little town. Now we have a little more people, but I feel like I look too white to speak Spanish. So people was like trying to figure out, what I was
So
like.
where is she from? She doesn't look Hispanic, but she has an
Yeah,
accent.
yes. And then people was like, I just speak English. And I was like, okay. I then had to learn to speak US English
Mhm.
because coming from Argentina, we do English from England.
Yeah.
So I still say supermarket, and people was like, where? I was like, to the market, to the grocery store,
Grocery store, yes.
which to me it was like grocery was more like an items
Mhm.
than a physical place. You know what I mean? So culturally, I had to like. It was a struggle the first year.
The first year, okay. And
Yeah.
did it also take you like 1 year to feel more comfortable with the English language?
Um, it did because I was thinking that I was speaking English, but I wasn't speaking U.S. English.
Uh-huh. And also you had an accent
And
and people sometimes had a hard time. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. So it was, yeah, it's still sometimes frustrated, but now they're older. When people say like what, because they don't even say excuse me, can you repeat
Mhm.
yourself? They're like what, and you're like, I turn around and I like I'm like, I got
Yeah.
no more patience for you. I'm like, if you're not making the effort, I don't want to talk with you.
Yes, I understand because like you've been there or you did that so many times. You're here
Yeah,
for such a long time. You don't want to get into it over and over again.
yeah.
Yeah.
I think that that's one of the biggest problems up here in the United States is people like are not open. Not a lot of people's open to like the unexpected, like people coming from different parts of the world.
So I remember when I first worked in the US and it was in a hotel and that one manager he when he started talking to me he started to speak up really loud. And I'm like, just because I have an accent, I am not deaf. You
Yeah,
know, you can
yeah,
speak in a normal tone to me, you know, normal volume. I understand you perfectly. You don't have to like speak louder.
yeah. It's not so stupid. That's the reaction. It happened to me too. And I'm like, but and then I learned that the speaking Spanish people up here, which most are from Mexico, they have their own dialect.
Yeah.
I mean, I did go to, that's the thing too, is to explain people that we speak differently. We can understand each other, but we have to actually understand each other in order
Yes.
to, and on the kitchen you have, people coming from every corner of the world.
Every country, and yes, but especially from South America and Central America.
Yeah. And so I had to learn terminology so that I could talk with them. And the funny thing is, my boss, who is an Italian, I would speak with her Italian because I had no problem. But then when she had to talk to a speaking Spanish people, I had to translate because she understand my Spanish. Yeah, we talk more like Spain. Then a Peruvian, a Mexican, or Colombia will have people from Costa
Yes.
Rica, things like that. And it was like, I had to like, okay, hold on one second. What are you trying to say? Okay. I had to like translate it to her in a way where she could understand.
I imagine in Idaho, there are not that many Hispanics.
Now we have, but when I came up here, I was like, you know, I feel like a completely outsider.
Yeah,
Like
yes. Because I imagine
it was,
Idaho is very much just white.
it's just white to the top. Um, it's so funny. We have one of our friends is here in town, and he is a French American. He actually have French parents, and but they came to United States. So he doesn't talk with an accent,
Mm-hmm.
but he is, he has a darker color skin. And yesterday we were talking, he's like, well, I'm the only black person in this white town. And I never see him on that way because I don't think that he is. He's darker than white people. So I was like, and he has green eyes. So it's kind of like, you know,
Wait,
it's
so he's not a typical blonde.
no, but he's
Yeah.
not like even a typical black
And he
person,
feels
which
already
is,
like an outsider.
yeah. Oh, he loves it. I know.
In that first year until you adjusted, were there times where you said, hey, I want to go back? This doesn't work out for me?
Yeah, and you know what it was the saying, we didn't have computers, so this technology. So it was expensive to go home.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Um, I think the word saved me, it was my boss. She was um, like all Italian, she's very intense, but she really made me feel like, if you need anything or, whatever it is, or, just talking in Italian with her, it made me feel a little less anxious because,
Mm-hmm.
um, I don't like to quit. And I was like, and I agreed to do this. So she really helped me to pass the first year.
Okay.
Yeah. Plus, I was so young and I was there 24/7
All the time. Okay.
all the time. So, yeah.
Do you still sometimes get asked always the same questions about Argentina?
hmm I like it more when people says like, "Oh my gosh, where are you coming from?" Oh, it's like first our town got a little bit bigger, but I got more out of my comfort zone.
Mm-hmm.
Now I don't care if you can understand what I'm saying.
Okay.
It's like I cannot talk, and if you can keep it up, we are fine. But a lot of people now it's like, oh my gosh, where you coming from? And I say Argentina, and people say, oh my gosh, well, I've been there, I really like it, or I want to go over there. I had clients that have friends that they come and ask me tons of things because they were on their way to go to Argentina. I feel like the last 5 years it grew more in me, and I'm more like it's not like before when I was saying I'm from Argentina and people was from Brazil. And you're like, dude,
Yeah, okay, okay. But that happened like back then. Like now they're like a little bit more educated.
yeah. I still had to like clarify. People say, oh, that's in South America. I was like, yes. And people has been like in Colombia, Venezuela, and I was like, do you see South America is so different? Central America is so different. We look differently, we differently, we have different customs. I mean, people are still saying the Cinco de Mayo is Mexico Independence Day. And you're like, no.
Really? I've never heard that, but okay, I would be surprised.
Oh, up here in Idaho, people didn't go to school. They don't know history and geography. And you're like, I had to give it to the US because US is like Hollywood. They keep everybody in this bubble. And they kind of convince you don't need to go outside. We have everything you need.
Well, it's a big country,
Yeah, it
and
is.
I have to say, like, all the states are so different,
Exactly.
you know? And I mean, like, here, they are so proud to be Texan, and it's so different to even the next state, Louisiana,
Yeah.
you know? And California is a totally different world.
Totally. Yeah.
And Idaho is also like so different.
So different. Completely. I mean, the mentality is like up here is we are ruled by religion.
Yeah, it's very similar here too.
In California, yeah, in California we are ruled by I don't like this. I cannot go and protest.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
yeah.
With the freedom of things. It was very interesting the first years up here because I don't sound like anyone up here. I don't look like anyone up here. I don't make my hair like this big and put tons of curls like a cowboy girl. I'm Catholic. I was pointed. I was Catholic, and I was like, yeah. I'm like because up here there is Mormon land.
Oh, it's Mormon then. Okay. Do you go to church?
I do go to church. I do pray in my home.
Okay.
I like and I had to tell you I did go to church a few times and I always did the mass in Latin
Mm-hmm.
and English doesn't make sense when they do it. So I kind of like my daughter will say ma because I will repeat it in my language or I will do it mentally.
Mm-hmm.
And the Catholic Church close home, they have a young priest for a few years, and it was fun to go and do it. But when I go home in Argentina, I will go with my mom, or we follow a very beautiful father, and you had to travel to go and visit him. So it's kind of like I believe on the spiritual thing. I don't believe on the institution,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So institution is made by men for men that have no brains. The spiritual is the poor guy that was cross nail and it was more spiritual. Yes.
Okay.
But I do have like I wear my cross and things like that. And I was pointed, oh, I have a lady when I will never forget her. She can say, oh, I have a friend that was wearing a cross like you. I was like, what that means? And so I think it's good that you follow what you faith, but it shouldn't rule anybody else's life,
Yeah.
if that
Yeah.
makes sense.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
Do you still sometimes have things that you cannot comprehend or that you cannot understand in the
Oh yeah.
way Americans work in your place and where you're coming from?
I feel the jokes, like when they say something funny, like when they're,
Ah, jokes.
and you're like, that wasn't funny. Like there are cultural sense that I'm like, I'm not there because it's not me, but I learned how to deal with it because it's 1 to 1 million people. And I feel like if I had to talk about work ethics, I feel like everybody else in the world, except the French, we are more a slave to work.
Mm-hmm.
And up here in a ski town, if it's snowing and stuff like that, people will call you and say, "Oh, I cannot go snowboarding." I was like, "Well, please don't come back.
Yes.
Thank you so much."
Oh, you cannot rely on that. I mean, if you want to run a business that is not working, you need
Yeah,
people that show up.
yeah, yeah. And I think that on that kind of situations, I'm more like, well, you don't never know what to expect.
Okay, so you think more like unreliability and a different sense of
Yeah,
humor.
yeah. That in another sense, I do like because there are rules to things. Um, Traffic. Oh my gosh, I go back home and I'm like, I don't want to drive in
Oh,
there
okay. Yeah.
because everybody goes like,
Yeah.
they do that up here too. But at least if you get a stop,
They follow the traffic rules and
you get a stop over there. Yeah, you can buy people. The other thing I don't like is that they drink too much.
in Argentina?
No, here.
Oh, in Idaho. Okay. They drink too much.
No, I wouldn't say in the whole Idaho situation. I will say as a country,
Uh-huh. Okay.
I feel like happy hour is too early sometimes.
But it's not that they're drinking too much. For me, it starts too early because it's a day
Yeah,
drinking thing.
exactly.
We don't have that, like for us, we start drinking late at
Yeah.
night. Like our parties are late at night, and
It
here,
starts at 11.
whatever. Like you have your first drink with your brunch.
Yeah, exactly. Um, uh, but yeah, you can start legally at 10, 11 up here and
Mm-hmm.
where I am. I've been traveling to Montana, and it was like 6 in the morning. We they go to have coffee, and the only thing open it was this bar, which it was a trailer in the middle of nowhere in Montana. It looked like a trailer from outside.
Uh-huh.
You get inside, it was a full bar. It was packed to the hell. The gentleman that was next to me, it was having he was drinking beer, and because it was 6 in the morning, he bought a bottle of whiskey, but the bartender was like, now it has to go in the paper bag, and you had to open it outside because it was like the rule at 6 in the morning. So you can drink because I asked, you can drink from 11 to 6 in the morning. And then that 5 hours, it was like not drinking hard alcohol in there. It was like the crazy sense. I know.
Interesting. Yeah, every state has different alcohol rules.
Yeah, so up here, you had a Sunday's rule. I think on Sunday up here in San Valley, you had to go after 2 p.m.
Uh-huh.
I think that they have the stuff. And in other places, it's completely closed. I mean, I've been in Salt Lake so many times, and everything is closed on Sunday.
Oh, yes, because it's also very Mormon. Mhm.
Yeah.
That's true. I haven't
So,
I haven't been there on a Sunday.
yeah.
Um, and what is the drinking culture then like in Argentina or the alcohol?
Um, I think we heard that too. Like we start a little later. I mean, if you are a sick person, you drink all day. But
Yeah, no, okay, but that aside, yes.
we start later. We had dinner later too, so it's kind of like culturally we are a very European. We have like the tea time. When tea time starts, it's generally 5. 6, you can have aperitivos, or
Mm-hmm.
you start with a beer. But yeah, it's later for us.
Tea time, you mean dinner time?
Dinner time starts 9:30, 10.
Okay, so that's a late dinner.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm. That is super different to here.
yeah, totally.
And what time do people send their kids to bed?
Whenever you can put it down. We are not
Yeah.
like the I know it's kind of crazy, but to me, like raising Lola up here, it was like, you hear like people that it's like by 5:30 they're in bed, and I was
That is
like,
early.
that is missing part of the day. And like, and I think that is one of the problems for the snacking.
Mhm.
They had dinner at 5:30 or 6, and then the body needs a little more energy sometimes. So the snacking situation is the biggest problem in this country. No, Lola, I think she will be at 10 p.m. going to bed.
Okay.
I mean, we did that in Argentina. And in Argentina we started school at 7:15.
Oh, early. Yes, that is very early.
Yeah, and you get out from school at, I don't know, 2:30. But sometimes you have sports after. I think that sometimes I will come back home more in high school, and it was 8 p.m.
Okay, yeah.
And you just eat, doing homework, go to bed, or doing more homework, and just go to school.
Okay, yeah. What do you miss from Argentina?
Everything.
Everything and like something in particular?
Um, Now that I'm older, I feel like I miss to hang out with my sisters more
Okay, so you miss family and friends?
and my friends. All my friends really are over there. I have
Mhm.
more friends actually around the world than the friends that I have up here, and I think it's a cultural thing.
Mhm.
It's like, but I miss, if I really had to be vain, I miss all the sweets in Argentina. I love the food over there. The food is everything.
I don't even know what kind of sweets are it.
Oh my gosh, it's like, we have alfajores
Alfajores.
with dulce de leches.
Mhm.
the we have, the kiosco, the candy stores.
I don't know.
So they have like 10 dozen cents. I know the cookies. I know the food is so good. I literally every time I go, I had to do an extra diet. So
Extra diet before and after.
yeah, and plus, everybody's like, oh, let's meet for tea time. Let's go to dinner. Let's go. Let's have,
Of course.
a lunch or stuff like that. So it's kind of
Yeah, of
like
course. So you eat way more than you usually do, but you have to indulge while you're there.
you have to as much as
Yeah.
you can. Then I try always to travel light because I will bring in candies with me.
Yeah, okay, that's heavy in the
Yeah,
end. How often do you visit?
I always try to do once a year for sure. Sometimes I'm being lucky enough to be 4 times because
Oh, that's a lot.
if I will have a competition going or I'm invited to be a judge,
What kind of competition? Cooking competitions?
a cookie competitions, or we have like I'm invited as a chef to a food festival, and we did, and in 2018 with the pizza school. Well, I adore this school where it trains, it teach how to make pizza and pastas and all that stuff, and they have a huge competition, and with the Guinness World Record.
Nice. Guinness Book of World Records. Cool.
Yeah, for the pizza and the empanadas.
Uh-huh. So you had to make the most empanadas?
And I was on the empanadas team. Yeah, so we have uh in Spain it was holding the title with 5,500, I think, and we did 12,000.
12,000 you did. But how many people?
On that, we were like just like 35 people, empanadas.
35 people making 12,000 empanadas.
And we
What?
have, you have a special ovens that they could, like, in 2 minutes.
And what was the time frame for the empanadas making?
It was 8 hours, and we did it in six and a half.
Oh, wow.
Dude, I was so organized. I was like,
Okay.
um, and then my sister, my older sister, she was on the pizza team, and it was I believe it was 180 people, because pizza has to you had to have people like straighten the dough and put in cheese. Everybody have a thing to do, and then you had to make sure that it was fitting on the box, it wasn't burned. So the same thing we have with empanadas. You had to make sure they were the same size, they were
Yeah.
no burn, and you can put 12 in each box, right?
Okay. You had to present them
Yeah.
too.
So I have
Okay. And who ate all this food?
we the school at PISA participates with the Down syndrome and the inclusion. And we had two
Hmm.
other friends bring the water connection to their schools. So our friends that have Down syndrome, they are like just really, really nice young men. And then we'll give to women's shelter, men's shelter, kids shelter. Some people came. It was pretty cool because they close a diagonal. The face when you go through takes you to the pink house in Buenos Aires. So they closed that alley for us, and it was people that came. Oh, but it happened everything the night before.
Hmm.
It rained like hell, so they had to get our stand, which it was really good because and then it was like so hot and so shiny. We lost power at the school because we overworked the machines and everything preparing. It was crazy. I flew Sunday and from here, and I flew back on Monday. So I barely saw my family. I was like, because you had to prepare and do all this stuff. But it was amazing.
It took you like 1 week?
Yeah, 5 days. So the pizzas they did 12,000 too.
Yeah.
And people had to go to work, so it was kind of like I pay my own ticket to go over there. The school paid the hotel, which it was awesome because I could not have been going to my mom's house and take the bus going back and forth. I was there like
Okay.
24/7.
Are you mentioned in the Guinness Book of Records?
Yes, we are mentioning that we had two medals, two gold medals each.
Cool.
Yeah, no, it was crazy. It was pretty fun.
That's a good experience,
Yeah,
and it's a nice story for sure.
yeah.
Would you ever consider moving back to Argentina?
Uh, Every time I go,
Yeah.
I'm like, yeah. I never say no.
Okay. And what made you stay in the US? Because you said it was your first husband, and you also have a daughter.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So it's not that easy
Yeah.
when you have a kid who is started being up here an American. And then I was doing my paperwork. The twin towers happened, so
Oh.
everything got stopped. So it took me an extra year to really. I had to start all over. My daughter was like 2 at the time, um, but I was so into the work that I was doing. It was really really good work. I was being paid really good money, and it took, let's see, from 2000. I think that I got all my paperwork in 2003,
Mhm.
and I still am not a citizen. I'm a resident, so
Yeah.
every 10 years I renew my residency because it really didn't come to United States to change the status. And everything changed where my country changed their lives too, where It really protects you. You don't lose your
Citizenship?
yeah. And then United States, it was like, well, this is so stupid. You can be a dual citizen and stuff like that.
You can't?
And
Or you can?
no,
Okay.
you can do it.
Mhm.
Um, so and I don't know, it wasn't that easy. And then I got divorced. So that my ex-husband, he's a really nice person, but he's a fly fishing guy, which he's in nature.
Mhm.
He, you know, so he didn't want to stay just in one place.
Okay.
But when you have a kid, you have to go to school. You have to be like situated.
Yes.
And this place is really nice. It's very calm. Very. I mean, you can leave your car open.
Yeah. And you don't have a lot of people living there? Do you have like a smaller?
Uh, so up here in Sun Valley, it's like 1,000
Okay.
people,
Yeah, small.
and people doesn't really live up here all the time. It's like second owner kind of thing.
Okay. Mhm.
Now with the COVID, we have more people coming to move up here, like young people. It's a retired community, and to ski, you have to have money.
Yeah, I know it's an expensive hobby, yes.
Yeah,
Is there something that you really like here?
I like the organization. I like that some things do work really good. Like
Do you mean like how things are
yeah,
organized? How people organize things? Uh-huh.
yeah, and it's like it's really sad to know how bad Argentina we have all these crazy people that just keep stealing money from the government and does nothing for the people.
Mhm.
And it got kind of intense. We have a decade where it was like very very intense. Um, but every
Mhm.
time I go, I'm like, I think that now that I'm getting older, I try to spend more time.
Yeah.
If I had to do like a 1 week because I'm going for a very specific thing, I would do it. But if I really go, I try to go like a month.
Mhm.
Be
Yeah,
there.
to spend the most time. It's a long trip, right? How long is the flight?
Oh, well, just getting out from United States is like the whole day.
Yeah.
Like literally is the whole day. And then if it's I can do it in 19, 20 hours.
That is a long trip, yes.
Yeah.
Do you do anything that is super Argentinian to you?
Oh, I do. And one of the things is when people ask me where are you coming from, I will always say Argentina. No Argentine, no Argentine. It's Argentina. It's how we pronounce it. I have a mate, so I can drink mate. Dulce de leche. Yeah. I think that the way I think, modern, but I don't
Mhm.
know. There's a very curious thing. I never like really think. I think this just talk as I am. I don't talk English or American English with an accent. I'm trying to, and I have friends they do that, and because they want to prove that they are in United States, and I'm like, "Ah, I don't care. With all the languages they speak, I don't even sound like Argentina anymore.
You identify through the language.
Yeah,
Mhm.
so it's me. I still don't make my hair. Everybody up here, where I am is a little more naive, so everybody's kind of like, wearing makeup and all day long, and hair or things like that. I'm more like,
You're more natural.
yeah, I think that whatever I can do to feel like I'm close to home, I do it.
And also since you are a chef, you can make your own Argentinian
Oh
food.
yeah, yeah. So that's one of the things. I sell empanadas with chimichurri to a place up here. And when they invite me to participate in some festivals, I do it, and like I always sold out. And That's one of the things I always like. If and I'm invited to do cooking classes, when people say, "Oh my gosh, how you do the chimichurri?" and blah, blah. And one of the things is like chimichurri is an Argentina invention. All the rest is a free interpretation. And um, and I really like. And one of the trips Francis Malman did up here, he was actually doing a cooking class, and this lady was fighting it out, and he was like, "No,
Yeah.
it's coming from Argentina. This is what we do. We do it for the meat, but we don't do it
Yeah.
on the same concept. You know, the people up here has 10,000 sauces, and everything has to have some dipping in. And you're like,
Mm-hmm.
we don't eat empanadas with chimichurri. We eat it empanada. So you have all the flavors. And up here it's like, it's a mix of like, if I really had to ask you what you eat, most of the people cannot define what they eat because it's all these things. Well, my husband is an example of that. I'm remarried. I'm been married for a very long time, but he's like he actually chugs when we're going out. He's like, sauces is a no. The food is a mechanism to eat sauces. That's all I want. And he was always for extra sauce. Like he just drink it.
That's so funny.
I
Ugh.
know. I hate
Mm.
gravy. I think that to me the most offensive food is Thanksgiving. It's a hospital flavor. And like I stopped doing Thanksgiving because I did it for so many years. And I'm like, the stuffing is horrible. The gravy has like,
I'm not a big fan of that meal. I like the mashed potatoes.
yeah, yes.
If they're not from a box,
Apple pies,
I like the
yeah,
pies. And not even the pumpkin pie, but I like the apple pies and the pecan pies, but
yeah,
only if it's not slimy.
yeah.
And I also like the cranberries, but I don't care for that turkey. I don't care for the stuffing. Yes, and it's dry and has no flavor.
It takes too long.
And the sauce, the gravy, there you can make gravy really good, but
Yeah. I is that the brown
everything's wrong about it.
cooking a turkey, it takes too long. Oh my gosh, Vicky. I was in Argentina. I think it was last year. That's what I'm doing now. November, at the end of November, I'm like, I'm out. I want,
You don't want to deal with the winter?
well, I don't want to deal with Thanksgiving. Well, I'm trying to like getting closer to Christmas every year because I've been not having Christmas for a very long time at home. But Lola is like, Ma, I'm going to cook a turkey. I was like, why? Buy it. Let's order a turkey. No, because everybody, wow, wow, wow. Oh my God. Loli had the biggest glass of wine. It was already midnight. And she's like, this scene is taking forever. And I was like, I told you, you had to start like early and it's going to take forever. But they were four people and their turkey was like 22 pounds.
And she didn't start making it until it was already dinner time?
Yeah, that one too. So, and I was like, okay, I was watching the football game and I have like here too, I have Lola on my Zoom or WhatsApp video. Yeah, I was like, every 20 minutes you had to turn around, make sure that you cover or you put shoes. So they eat that turkey. I said, I don't know, at 1 in the morning. So she's not gonna do that anymore. She learned her lesson.
No more turkeys in general, ever.
Just don't cook it. Just don't cook it.
Just don't cook it, yes.
Yeah.
When you first moved here, what were the biggest differences to you?
I had to say I seen the biggest difference. It was I was thinking that was talking English. I was speaking English, and I wasn't.
Okay. So language barrier?
Yeah, because my English it wasn't the one that I speak up here. So it was stressful. I feel so stressful the first year up here.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Yes.
and I think that that's why I love football, American football, so much because I was trying to see what will I can like, you can scream to the TV and relax, and then at the same time you will get, these words that you never hear before. So I think that watching American football teach me a lot.
Oh, that's so interesting. I never heard that before, but also I don't watch it, so maybe that's
Yeah.
why.
Oh my God. They were playing some soccer, and it was like the most boring thing I ever saw in my life.
Really?
It was like, and the guys were like, "Goal," and you were
Well,
like,
that is
"Hold on."
boring though, how they presented it
Oh, it was
though.
so. They came far. Now it's kind of like, but
In the beginning, you mean?
25 years ago, it
Oh
was
my
like,
god, yes,
oh my
because,
God.
like, it's so different, but I know in the beginning when I moved here, like, people, they always watched the Mexican soccer
Yeah.
because at least,
Uh huh.
the guy who's talking, he's, like, super into it and,
It's
like,
like, yeah,
screaming. Yeah,
yeah.
there's more energy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
I know. In
and you have such a big soccer culture in Argentina.
yeah, yeah. I was in home last year for the third game, which was amazing, and of the World Cup. And I come back. I was flying in for the last game. I don't know why I didn't stay home because I could have doing that and stay home for it. It was Sunday. It was so
Oh,
stupid.
but you did not know? You mean, like, you
No,
never
and
know what's
I
happening, so
no, and I had to come back because I have started, with the catering and the clients. But it was such a good experience. And where I live, where I'm from, uh, is where Diego Maradona moved
Mhm.
in the neighborhood, and I had the pleasure to actually cook for Diego
Oh, cool.
with Pablo Macei, and it was really cool. He was really nice to regular people. He wasn't nice to the reporters, but to the regular people, oof, he was always take a picture with you, be very thankful. It was something. I saw the good and the bad,
Yeah, nice.
but it was nice. Yeah.
That was a super interesting story from Nadina, I think. I appreciate her honesty and boldness about her time in the US. I think you can tell that she is a very passionate chef and person. And for a little bit more information, she competed in 2018 for the Guinness Book of World Records. And the school name that she did it with was Appice, spelled Appyce. And they train kids with Down syndrome to become professional pizza maestros and bakers. And I think that's pretty cool. I will also add a picture to our Instagram from the Pink House, or Casa Rosado in Buenos Aires. That is the iconic governmental place, and it houses the president's office. Our Instagram is called Worlds Collide Pod. It's just one word. And if you ever go to Sun Valley in Idaho, you can find Nadina's Gelato place, and it's called Devoto Gelato, which also stands for the neighborhood in Buenos Aires where she grew up in, and also where Diego Maradona lived. I will also add a picture to that and a link to that too. And of course, if you have a story that you want to share, you can email me at worldscollide123pod@gmail.com. I hope you enjoyed this episode and that you will tune in for the next one. I'm your host, Victoria Daute, and I will see you next time. Oh, thanks for the interview.
Thank you.